Well, folks, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully this might have sorted the issue. Apparently the stream wasn't showing on the channel. Hopefully we can resolve this issue. Ah, cursor Wufafa. You maybe end it and restart it for no reason. The man who is not here has jinxed me. Unbelievable. Doing so well. So, apologies for technical difficulties. The man who is not here, Mr. Wufafa, still decided to cause carnage, as per usual. I think, funny enough you say that, I couldn't see it just then, but since I stopped it and restarted it, it's then started flowing people in. But I think if you hadn't have said it, no one probably would have watched it anyway, so it's a win-win. I can't get the embarrassment of being a solo, which is great, it's good fun, but as we have it, the last couple of laps. Oh, as I missed that, Moxie does improve on his time in a 1:15.9. Fantastic to break into the 15s on a technical track like Portugal, the Portimao. Persegili on an interesting outlap, coming to a straight stop. So, after technical difficulties, the qualifying session, for some reason, wasn't picked up. So, I do apologise if it's a problem my end or a problem with YouTube, I'm not quite sure, but nonetheless, we will try and make amends of the carnage that was missed. No carnage, I promise. Rising Moon overtaking Moxie with a 1:15.8. Fantastic from Mercedes. Mercedes teammate didn't quite get the qualifying he would have wanted, but he does sit respectively currently P3 at the moment. AVT Pasti also improving on his time, but don't think it's going to be quite enough to take the fight to Persegili. So Mulch Lane, I think as Mr. Wufafa calls him Mr. Smooth. I might be wrong on that. Can he improve on his time towards the start finish line? He does improve, switching places with AVT Pasti. Oh, AVT Pasti, as I've just commentator cursed him, does improve on his time respectively, sitting next to his teammates P4 and P5. Fantastic from him. I think Mr. Phoenix, the last of the drivers to round out this qualifying session in round 8 of Portimao, to come into the pits. Just waiting for the Alpine to hopefully do a better strategy than what they did in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix to get that car back in the garage. So there we have it, Rising Moon P1 with a 1:15.8, Moxie P2 with a 1:15.9, Persegili with a 1:16.0, AVT Pasti with a 1:16.3. Round out the top 5, Pedro just slightly behind his teammate, and I didn't quite catch his time for the P5, but there he has it on the camera before the feature race. So Pedro ran out the top 5, Armand Teleki P6, Mr. Mulchlane, Mr. Smooth P7, Gulmarv in the AlphaTauri P8 at the moment. I'm pretty sure he's going to want to make quick work of the drivers on the track, as he normally sits respectively in the top half of the grid. Tezik P9, Solid Ninja Snake P10, Back Lightyear P11, Jim Wong P12, Max Duca P13, J-Tray P14, Super Jesse P15, Phoenix P16, and I'm not quite sure what happened to Creamer, but Creamer rounding out P17 at the bottom of the grid. Didn't set a time, but I'm sure hopefully he can return for a great race. And so it is a 50% feature race, which I'm sure it's going to include a formation lap tonight, as the game seems to have slightly fixed its formation lap bug, but hopefully not going to cause any issues this evening. And so just whilst we wait for the drivers to select their strategy, their fuel, their tyres, and say whether we're going to see a safety car or two tonight, we'll soon find out. And say Portimao Grand Prix, or the Portuguese Grand Prix, tight technical sectors, whether safety car is going to be friend or foe on tyre strategy. We'll soon find out whilst the formation lap gets shortly underway. So it seems to be taking a little while for the drivers to pick their tyres, but nonetheless I'm sure they're going to get heated up very nicely on the formation lap of the Algarve International Circuit. And so I did try ask a few drivers before this evening of any predictions and aspirations, but unfortunately didn't get any. But say AlphaTauri, from what I've seen the last few couple of races that I have spectated, fantastic dominant performance from them. So whether they can upset Perseguili, say the man, all eyes on him. So whether he can take the fight to them, or say Red Bull being in this fight as well. Don't forget Red Bull, they have a fantastic team this season. So great racing in the last couple of races in Zandvoort as well. Great display of pace from Team Red Bull. And so last week we had Monaco. And so we will get this formation lap underway. So the drivers will get their tyres warmed up. So interesting choice of tyre strategy, a great mixture of soft, hard and mediums.
We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
And so if you are in the stream, in the comments, whether you're a racer or you're a viewer, make sure you do get involved. Type a comment, who do you think is going to win, who do you think is going to spin it, and who do you think is going to cause the most carnage. So the drivers lining up in their little white boxes on the start straight to get this session underway. We are waiting for the red lights. 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 lights, 5 lights, and it's going to mug me off. And away we go with the Portuguese Grand Prix. Rising Moon getting an okay start, but Moxie doesn't quite get the start he wanted either. Round turn 1. All the drivers relatively facing the right way, but we do have Rising Moon fighting Moxie already, as I see a little bit of carnage towards the back, but Rising Moon still holding on. Moxie all over the side of this Mercedes. Coming around this tight, tricky sector. Is space going to be given? Yes, it is. Very respectable driving from both drivers there. Round these few other technical corners. Round into Samsung. Is Moxie going to stick his nose out? He does. Is there any going to be... Oh, I see Armand Talecki having a Ferrari moment up Samson Hill. Round in this first sector, all the drivers seem to be still facing the right way on sector 1 of lap 1 of the Portuguese Grand Prix. It's nice to see Creamer back in his car, already up into P15. Hopefully he can make some places and put a great show on us. Then we've got Tezik. Is he going to try and make a move on AVT Passy? No, AVT Passy then goes for a move on Armin Telecki. Oh, I think I just slightly missed that, but Rising Moon gets a move done onto Moxie into turn 2, round into turn 3. Is Moxie going to send one? No, he's not. That does leave the door open slightly for Pedro and Persegili behind. Great racing from the lad so far. Persegili on the outside. Is he going to send one round the Red Bull? I think he slightly gets his nose out in front. He does indeed. Very nicely done from Persegili. Back into P3 for him. So once again coming round into Samsung. And so there we have it. The tyre strategy for the session is either a very fast one-stop, or if you wanted to go for it, you could do a two-stop if you wanted. Mulchlane, Mr. Smooth going side by side with Armin Telecki. Oh, I think he just pushed him off there. I think we might see that in the stewards room afterwards, or whether that was just a little bit of motor racing incident, as very cool. But there we have Armin Telecki once again getting a bit of a slip on coming out of turn 13. Mulchlane making advantage of that Ferrari, having a bit of a Ferrari moment, moving up into P8. We've got Moxie taking a fight to the race leader into turn 1 through Palmyra. Is he going to get it done? Yes, he is. Round into turn 2. Very nicely done. Persegili on the back of his teammate. Is there going to be any team orders from Mercedes? Excuse me. Really bad hiccups at the moment, but I'm trying to give you the best I can. Is there going to be any team orders from Mercedes, or is Rising Moon going to take this one for Mercedes? We've got Red Bull in this as well. Don't forget them. Gormov has made it up into P6 already from the start. We've got Creamer already into P10. Last lap when I checked on you, he was down to P15. Great result from you so far, buddy. Tezik all over the back of Gormov. He looks like he was going to go for a move, but thinks better of it. And I think, as I might have jinxed him, Armin Telecki, I'm not quite sure what went on, but he's down the back of the grid. Oh, hello, we see Solid Ninja Snake. Not quite sure what happened there. He's having a snake moment on the grass. Not what he would have wanted for this first couple of laps. We've got Gormov. Oh, we've got Max Duca. Tezik. What's going on? I think McLaren might be complaining about their really slow car in the straights once again, as Tezik seems to have dropped down the order. Super Jesse all over the back of Tezik. I think he's going to get a move done, or is McLaren going to pull out that cheeky top speed into turn 1? Yes, he is. Super Jesse doesn't quite get the move done, but Tezik does pull away from him ever so slightly. 3 cars in the pit on lap 4. Not quite sure what happened there, but I think we might see it in the stewards room after this race. All the drivers coming around a tricky Samson Hill, as I'm going to call it for the rest of this session. The drivers getting settled in, the tyres are just getting to probably where they would have liked them. Interesting strategies, so the great mixture of hard, mediums and softs. Whether safety car is going to come into play or help those strategy. Mulchlane, Mr. Smooth, all over the back of that AlphaTauri. As we just see the AVT Pasty Red Bull just slightly going wide on the exit of turn 13, round in turn 14 now. Into turn 15, the DRS has now been enabled these last couple of laps. Is that going to make a difference? We do have Max Duca slightly on the back of this, and Creamer as well. But don't forget, Gormov has DRS as he is behind AVT Pasty. I don't think there's going to be much movement as they all have DRS. As I just slightly missed it, Persegili has overtaken Moxie and his Mercedes teammate, so Persegili now has the lead on lap 5 of 33 in this Portuguese Grand Prix. Is Creamer going to go for a move on the inside? I think he is. Very respectable racing. Oh, I think he just slightly pushed him wide, but I think that was fair. I'm not quite sure what's happened to Moxie, but so Persegili has slightly nearly pulled a second out already, just to give him a protection from the DRS. Gormov chasing down AVT Pasty once again. So Pedro trying to chase down Rising Moon to have a good bit of fun between Christian Horner and Toto Wolff, as much as we love it to see it. But can they prove it on track? Gormov chasing down AVT Pasty. Can he get the exit he wants? He just about gets there. Persegili setting the fastest lap at the moment of 119.0. We got Moxie losing out of position from Rising Moon into turn 1. Surely that was under DRS there. Not a lot Moxie probably could have done from that. But Pedro is closing the door to Moxie ever so slightly, as he's still within DRS of the cars in front. Creamer getting a little bit out of shape there from, I think, turn 4. Rounding down into turn 5. A great train here of cars fighting for a top 5 at the moment. And Creamer with his racecraft pull-out result in the bag. We'll keep an eye on him. So Moxie is still chasing down Rising Moon. Pedro is still on this AVT Pasty, not quite close enough to his teammate for a tow as he would have wanted. But nonetheless, they are sitting respectively P4 and P5 at the moment. Mousseline, Mr. Smooth, is trying to impede on the Red Bull dreams of AVT Pasty. Is he going to make a move down the start straight? I think he is. He's going to get that DRS wide open. It's going to be a close fight into turn 1. Mousseline does get the move done on AVT Pasty into Primera. Great move from him. I think Kramer also got a move onto Gormov there as well. I think we might have just caught that in the background of a glimpse. So Mousseline's next mission is to hunt down the other Red Bull. Or is he going to defend from AVT Pasty? But we just flicked onto AVT Pasty, nearly running into the back of the Alpine, and Creamer included of this train for P5. Pedro still hanging on the back of Moxie in his DRS section. I'm sorry, not DRS, tricky section. Tricky section, I've got my words mixed up. So Moxie just about still hanging onto the back of Rising Moon as well, but say Persegili has run away with a lead of a 1.7 gap at the moment. Creamer trying to chase down AVT Pasty. Is he going to get the drive he wants out of turn 14? Yes he is, but that Red Bull pulled away a little bit. Round in turn 15 of Galp. Is he going to get the move done down the start straight? Both drivers are going to have DRS to protect him, but just flicking through the pack, I've just seen Moxie overtake Rising Moon, so that now splits the Mercedes in half once again. Great dominant display between the Mercedes. Oh, as we've just jinxed him, Moxie, after taking the Mercedes, has just unfortunately spun it out on the top of turn 5. On turn 5 or turn 4, I believe, not quite sure, but nonetheless he is still facing the right way. Doesn't seem to have any damage, which is great to see. So he just hurt his confidence a little bit, probably dropping to P5, but nonetheless I'm sure he's going to hopefully get back underway. Lap 8 of 33 at the moment, so I'm sure pit strategies and tyre strategies are going to be coming into play as we come into lap 8 at the moment, as well spotted by lead commentator. Even though he's not here, he is still strong in the comments, still committed in the comments. Soft tyres are dead. Great observation, buddy. So great train, all building up for his fight for the top places at the moment, all the way from Mousseline in P4 all the way to P9. His Is it going to get a move done on Super Jesse into turn 1? No, he's not. Not quite, but Moxie does retake a position from Mouchelane, trying to claw his way back up to the top spots after having that little slip the last lap. We're going to see a fight from the Red Bull. No, we're not, but the inside line of the Aston Martin's a great way to go for Creamer there. Coming round into Samson, practically pushing the cars either along. All Creamer's left the session, Moxie's left the session. Not quite sure what's going on there, but connections issue. But this is going to hurt Moxie big time. Not what he needs right now, sitting P4 after having that last lap spin and currently disconnected from the session. Hopefully he can get back into his car very soon and not going to hurt him too much. He's now getting overtaken from Mr. Smooth. I'm pretty sure AVT Passy is going to make very great advantage of this AI car running round on track. That's going to hurt Moxie big styles. So who's going to be the first driver to dive into the pits? I believe that is Gulmov of the AlphaTauri. Unfortunately his teammate can't quite do the same at the minute as he's currently AI, but Gulmov is the first driver on the softs, lap 10 of 33 to pit. Interesting to see what strategy he goes with, whether he's going to split it to a 1-stop or 2-stop. But there we have it, Moxie has rejoined the session. Hopefully he can get back into his car soon enough. And I'm pretty sure I did see Creamer that's disconnected as well, once again. Not quite sure whether it's a problem on their end or the game end. Not quite sure, but hopefully they can get back up and running very soon, as they are on the soft tyres. They don't want to stay out on them too long, as the strategy is very vital on Portugal. So now we have it. Persegili has now pulled out a 3-second gap to his teammate behind in P2, and Pedro just about hanging on to a just under a 1-second gap from Rising Moon. Does close it down very nicely down this start straight, proving that Pedro's got some fantastic straight line speed. Into turn 3, spotting his entry point, getting nice and early on the power. Great exit from him. You've got Tezik that has just made a move on Creamer that's currently still disconnected, I believe. So he wants to get back into his car and say try climb back up the order from what he has done. And say he started at the bottom of the grid, he made up some great places to the top part of the leaderboard. So unfortunately he's disconnected once again. He's fallen back down the order. Arman Telecki, the first driver tonight to pick up a penalty. That's unfortunate to see. Oh, not the one that I wanted. So whilst we have position changes, Persegili has made up 2 places, Pedro has made up 2 places as well, Mr. Smooth, Mouchelane has moved up 3 places, Max Duca, one of our biggest winners at the moment, has made up 7 places. That's fantastic. I say Creamer as it stands, P10, dropping down the order, being currently AI, he has made up 7 places, but would have been a few more if he hadn't have disconnected. J-Tray has moved up 3 places. Super Jesse, not to miss out as well. Great result from Alfa Romeo as it starts at the moment. His teammate 7 places, and Super Jesse has moved up 6 places. Oh, as I just missed that, Max Duca's just made up 8 places on the Red Bull. Great move from him. So unfortunately our biggest losers at the moment is Back Lightyear and Arman Telecki, dropping 6 and 7 places. And Gulmov has dropped down 6 as well. Not quite sure what happens to Gulmov, but I'm pretty sure he's going to come back with vengeance. The AlphaTauri is a very strong team. So drivers getting settled into their rhythm now. Tyre strategies are going to come into play, as some of the tyres are going to start weaning off their strength and their grip. So we'll try to keep as much content and battles as we can, but so the drivers are getting pretty spread out. We do have J-Tray closing down on a disconnected Creamer. Not what we want to see. I think we got AVT Pasty. I think it's had a little bit of a moment there, but he was closing in. Tezic, the McLaren teammate of J-Tray, closing in on Moxie ever so slightly. There's McLaren's going to, Moxie dives into the pits even, shall I say. Cat's got the tongue as per usual. I can't get the words out. But Tezic moves up a place from Moxie as he dives into the pits. And unfortunately, hopefully Creamer can get back into the lobby ever so soon, as he's slowly starting to tumble down the order. So lap 13 of 33. I don't want to jinx it, but touch wood, where everyone seems to have been facing the right way. Give or take a few spins and a few whoopsies, but no sign of Bert Maylander testing out that safety car just yet this evening. So drivers are getting settled. Armin Selecki with another 3-second penalty. It's not quite the Ferrari strategy that anyone would have wanted. We've got Gormov chasing down that Ferrari on the 3-second penalty warnings. Sorry, 6 seconds of penalties, I believe. Yeah, 6 seconds of penalty. The only driver to get a penalty so far. As I see, Armin Selecki getting a super shaky, snappy exit of turn 14. Ooh, careful, there's a car there. Round turn 15, is it going to affect him too much? Gormov fends off the... Ooh, not quite sure. Again, Armin Selecki, I think, having car problems, but Gormov does get the lead down the start straight into turn 1 with DRS. He got very lucky there to avoid the contact that may have been made down the start straight. Armin Selecki getting all sorts of shapes, and Gormov taking those shapes thrown at him. As I just say, Gormov then having a snap there as well. And so we've got Super Jesse trying to chase down Tezic. Another driver within a second gap of the car in front. Super Jesse getting very close to the back of that McLaren through his couple of technical corners. Rounding turn 14, all the McLarens a bit of a snap on the exit. He's going to leave him vulnerable to Super Jesse behind him. Here's Super Jesse going to have the super speed. No, he doesn't need it as Tezic dives into the pits. So that's both the McLarens moving up a free place from a driver in the pits. Oh no, Tezic then drives into the pits as well. I probably may have got my tongue tied then. I was too busy looking at both the McLarens. It probably was Tezic. Oh, excuse me. Solid Ninja Snakes, the second driver to get a 3-second penalty this evening. So a fantastic first couple of laps. I'd say Super Jesse then gets a little bit of a lock on there through his turn 5, turn 6, turn 7, round into Samson Hill. We've got Tezic chasing down Jim Wong. He's going to get a move. Nicely done. Elect for the inside. Is Jim Wong going to try fight it? No, he's not. He's going for a switchback. He tries it. Tezic gets a little bit out of shape. Jim Wong practically pushing that McLaren round turn 6 and 7. Round in turn 8 into Samson Hill. We've got Persegidi, our was current race winner, diving into the pits. Doesn't seem to lose out on too much. I think he's just going to come up behind Pedro. Oh, sorry, AVT Pasty even. So, didn't really lose out on too much places, but say does mean he has done his compulsory pit stop. So, interesting to see whether Persegidi stays on that tyre till the end, or does go for a 2-stop. So whether Alfa Romeo can wake up and return the fight. Gormov sitting P7 at the moment. So has Moxie returned? Looks like Moxie has returned to his car. Looks like he's still going. And it's not hollowed out. Has Creamer returned yet? No, Creamer hasn't returned yet. That's unfortunate. Max Duca currently sitting P3, chasing down Mr. Smooth, Mr. Mouchelane. Is he going to get a move done for his last couple of corners? Round in turn 13, a little bit of a slip. Onto turn 14, Sagrees. And then going to come round into turn 15. Is he going to get the exit he wants? Nice and tight, hugging that inside line. Round in turn 15 off Galp. Is he going to get a move done down the start straight? He has got DRS on him, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough. But Max Duca does move into P2. Mouchelane taking the lead as the race winner. Rising Moon dives into the pits. His teammate overtakes him. I say Rising Moon doesn't seem to have lost out too much from that. He does move down a place from J-Tray, very tight on the entrance of turn 1, the pit lane exit. I say nonetheless, the Mercedes of Rising Moon, I think quite of a interesting move there, just about flicked onto it. He's going to go for a move on the inside here, round in turn 5, he is, yes he is. Is J-Tray going to fight back? No he's not. Gourmov behind, is he going to move down the Red Bull? No he's not. Moxie moves up a place. Oh sorry. Once again, Gulmarv and Arman Selecki, oh sorry, Moxie and Arman Selecki, the Ferrari and the AlphaTauri both having interesting fights as per usual. Persegili is just a little bit away from behind of ABT Pasty. Gourmov all over the back of J-Tray. He wants to get this move. Oh, not quite sure if there's a bit of contact there, but Gourmov does take a place of J-Tray. Pretty sure we might see that in the shields room. I'm not quite sure, but nonetheless, I think J-Tray is going to have DRS to fight this back. He is down the start straight. He's going to fly past Gourmov into turn 1. Zach Brown with that cheeky top speed complaining has just paid off. Persegili did make a move on AVT Pasty to retake P3. He's got a little bit of a gap away from Max Duca, but Max Duca is still hot on the heels of Mr. Smooth, Mr. Mouchelane. I'll say lap 18 of 33. And so let us know if you are watching in the comments who's going to win, who's going to elect to stay out on the tyres, or is anyone going to go for a 2-stop? Do let us know. Arman Selecki once again picking up another 3-second penalty. Not quite sure what's going on there. He's always in the wall, missing his front wing. Careful rejoining on track, mate. Don't reverse on track. Samson Hill, it can chew you up and spit you out. So it's great to see no sign. Oh, that did cause a safety car. I missed that completely. That seemed a bit interesting. So Mouchelane, Max Duca, Persegili and ABT Pasty all diving into the pits. Rising Moon elects to stay out to take the race lead. Pedro also stays out. Interesting to see. I'm not quite sure what caused the safety car there, but it seemed quite a weak one. So here we are, lap 19 of 33, the first safety car of the session. Quite a good mixture of drivers decided to pit, a few decided to stay out. Kramer still hasn't got back in his car yet, which is unfortunate to see. I think Arman Selecki is having great problems with his car there. So hopefully the safety car won't be out for too long, and so we can get back under racing very soon. So I'm not quite sure. Arman Selecki has retired in the pits. It's unfortunate to see. and say whether there was a bit of contact or whether it was just unfortunate bit of error, or say that just the loose debris may have caused the safety car. But here we are, lap 19 of 33. And saying hopefully the Lord Wufafa hopefully can return next week and grace us with his beautiful presence of not being full of the man flu, I mean the Rona. So interesting to see what track we do have next week. Don't have it to hand on my phone, but say do stay tuned and catch up with us 8 PM on a Sunday. Apex Online Racing, fantastic league across great racing, ACC, GT7, F1, you name it, we do it. So just waiting for a few of these back markers to catch up to the safety car, and hopefully we can get back underway very soon. Come on, backlight, yeah. To infinity and beyond, son. Put that foot down. So everyone has pitted at this point. No drivers have elected to do the absolute almighty and stay out on the original tyres, which would have been quite interesting to see. But every driver has pitted now, regardless if it's once or twice or 3 times. All drivers have pitted and are probably on the tyres they are on till the end of this Portuguese Grand Prix. Let's just see if we can find any facts about the Portuguese Grand Prix just whilst we wait for the Aston Martin to catch up. Interested to see whether you'd class backlight year as a Lance Stroll driver or a Fernando Alonso. Be interested to see what driver he would think of himself, to be fair. You never know. Whether he fancies himself as a young buck of Lance Stroll or an elder, wise Fernando Alonso. The man comes with great racecraft. As I see Super Jesse just electing to pit this late on. Pretty sure it's not going to affect him too much, to be fair. So he's got a good gap from back Lightyear. So hopefully safety car should be in this lap. Just leaving a good portion of laps left of this Portuguese Grand Prix. Perseguili sitting P5 at the moment. He's going to want to get dispatched of his drivers quite quickly. Max Duca sitting P4. Mouchelin, Mr. Smooth sitting P3. Pedro P2. Rising Moon. A great dominant display from the Mercedes team at the moment. So whether they can pull something out of the bag or whether we're going to go motor racing and Michael Massey our way into a victory, who knows. So hopefully safety car should be in this lap as it just goes over the timing line for sector 2. Yes it is, we have race control. Toto, we went motor racing and we are going motor racing as the safety car is going to be back in this lap. All eyes on Rising Moon for the restart. He's got to wait for that safety car to get past the pit lane entrance to not impede the performance of himself or his fellow racing drivers behind him, as there is a bug where if you overtake the safety car or try to overtake the safety car, your speed is drastically dropped. So not what Rising Moon wants, as he's bunching up his drivers, coming round turn 15, waiting for the safety car and Bert to get out of that Aston Martin. Is he going to pick his moment? He's gone. He's left Pedro slightly sleeping, but he's got a great restart. We've got Portuguese all over the back of Max Duca already. Down into turn 1, we've got J-Tray fighting already with Gulmov down into turn 1. A great mixture of drivers. I think I see J-Tray and Gulmov and a bit of a fight. Portuguese overtaking Max Duca into turn 3. Max Duca still hanging on to a P5 at the moment. Mushlane going for a move on Pedro. We just about missed that but saw the end result. Pedro all over the back of the gearbox. A lot of drivers moving and shifting around, folks. We will try to give you the best we absolutely can. So Gulmov and Moxie hopefully going to try fight their way through the pack. Both drivers fantastic racecraft and fantastic speed. We're going to want to start dispatching some of these drivers towards the end of this race. Is there any news on Creamer? Did he return? It looks like his car isn't hollowed out anymore, which is great to see. We've got a McLaren of J-Trade drifting wide into turn, on the exit of turn 13, should I say. A solid Ninja Snake using as much curbing as he can to avoid that Aston Martin. Moxie and Gulmov both fighting down the start straight. Whether there's going to be any team orders from AlphaTauri, who knows? We've got J-Tray, we've got Creamer nearly going 3 wide into turn 1. Is it going to be contact? J-Tray seems to... Oh, I think there's a bit more. I think that's Moxie. Not quite sure what happened there, but Moxie seems to have drawn the short straw in that. He still seems to be intact. He's not missing any sort of damage or any parts of his wing, which is great to see. Jim Wong electing for a move on Solid Ninja Snake. We're going to get a POV of him. Oh, I think he elected for a cheeky move on the outside of the McLaren. It's a great move into Samson Hill. I think J-Tray had a bit of a moment there, but left himself vulnerable to the cars behind. A Solid Ninja Snake's going to go for a move around the outside. He's now going to have the inside line to this next corner. Yes, he does. And so not quite the restart that McLaren would have wanted. Nearly running into the back of his McLaren teammate there into turn 13. Getting completely out of shape there. And so J-Tray then picks up a 3-second penalty. Not ideal restart for the McLaren. Absolutely not. DRS has been re-enabled this lap. 24 of 33. But the drivers aren't going to get it until the first DRS section in Sector 1. Backlight, you're very sharp on the brakes there from Phoenix, avoiding a very, very nasty collision there. A lot of these drivers are all bunched up once again. We've got Jim Wong is going to get a move done onto Creamer into turn 5. Elect for the inside line. Is he going to go for a move? Yes, he does. Fantastic move from him. Oh, but Creamer sticks his nose out in front, gets a greater exit having the wider line. Creamer stays in front. Great racecraft from Creamer there. Knew what he wanted. Got the deal done. We've got Gulmov all over the back of ABT Pasty, and ABT Pasty's chasing down Max Duca, who is holding onto a P5 at the moment. The driver who elected to pit under the safety car, on for a new fresher tyres. He's got to make them work for the remainder of the session. Here's Jim Wong going to get a bit of a fight. Oh no, he does pick up a 3-second penalty. Round in turn 15, all over the back of the Aston Martin. He's going to get a move done down the start straight. I think he is. DRS is now enabled, so he's going to have those extra mile an hour. But we do just see in the background J-Tray. Absolute sensational. 3 cars down the start straight, but then I think he's a little bit wide. Oh, there's going to be a bit of contact there, but I think they've just about managed to keep all 4 wheels on the tarmac. A lot of drivers moving and shifting around. Max Duca fending off this Red Bull sandwich that he's found himself in the middle of. We've got Solid Ninja Snake. Not quite sure what happened with him, but see both of the McLarens made a move on Solid Ninja Snake. We've got Gulmov making a move on Pedro just around the technical tricky part of Sector 2. Jesse picking up a 3-second penalty. Penalties are flying off the shelves, folks. But there we have it. Rising Moon and Portuguese the strong dominant force of the Mercedes, now sitting respectively P1 and P2. So I think we can fairly say Persiguili's probably going to maybe have some team orders thrown in from Toto to his teammate, or is his teammate going to stick one on him? Lewis Hamilton and Rosberg style, but Persiguili flies down his teammate into turn 1 of Primera. Great move from Persiguili there. Now can Rising Moon either stay on the back of him and just hold off his 1-2 finish from McLaren, but Max Duca having a bit of a fight with Gulmarv there. Not quite sure what happened there, but there was a yellow flag in sector 1. Max Duca does drop to P5. Maybe we might see that in the steward's room. Solid Ninja Snake moving on back Lightyear, side by side. Back Lightyear fires back. He's going to have the oh, we saw that, folks. A bit of contact there, a bit of debris, bit of wing flying everywhere. I think that was an incident between the Alfa Romeo and the Aston Martin. No sign of a safety car just yet. Persiguili picking up a 3-second penalty. That's not what he wants. Our current race leader. I'm pretty sure he's got the racecraft and the speed to pull a 3-second gap out anyway, but I did just flick onto him. He did just set a purple sector 2. So nonetheless, I'm pretty sure he's going to take the fastest lap, maybe this lap, if he can keep it all together. Which he doesn't quite do yet. So we've got J-Trade trying to make a move. Oh no, ABT passed, he dives into the pits. Not quite sure why you do that now after the safety car, but here we are. He's going to drop right down the order. Moxie's retired in the pits. Absolute scenes. What's happened to AlphaTauri? So Moxie has retired in the pits. Super Jesse in the pits. I believe there's a Red Bull of ABT passengers coming out the pits as well. Tezic going for a move on Creamer. And Creamer once again getting that great exit on the wider line. Coming round Samson. Is he going to get a nice done on the inside? Well, I think he just about forced him, but fairly forced him. Space looked like it was given, but Tezic does keep his orange McLaren in front. So it's just starting to hot up these last couple of laps, ladies and gentlemen. I will try to give you the absolute best of all battles. So I am on my own. The mighty Wufafa has called in sick, which is just not good enough. But he has stayed committed through the comments and did point out to me that the stream didn't actually go live when it did. So I do apologise for technical difficulties. And so we do have Pedro overtaking Max Duca down the start straight into turn 1. Great move from Pedro. Hopefully Max Duca can send one back on him. He's getting all very close to him. Round turn 3 into turn 4. No, Pedro doesn't get DRS, but Max Duca does. You're going to stick one into turn 5. No, he doesn't, but Pedro gets a big lock-up, leaving the vulnerable door to Max Duca behind. Phoenix and Tezic and Creamer. This fight for P9 is alive. His last couple of laps. I'm sorry, P8, sorry, even. Gulmarv is trying to chase down Mr. Smooth, Mr. Mouchelane. He is just within side of DRS. Hopefully he can sabotage or save some points for the AlphaTauri as his teammate retired in the pits just a lap ago. Is Gulmarv going to get some great moves down the straight? Is he going to have that straight line speed that we've all seen before from the AlphaTauri? They like to use and abuse their great straight line speed. Doesn't quite get a move done, but he does run wide into turn 2. Oh, not quite sure what happened there, but we have Pedro spinning around. Before we get copyrighted, I was going to sing the song, but no, I think better of it myself. We do have a yellow flag. Oh, quite a few drivers getting bunched up there. But Max Duca holds on to P5 for now. His last couple of laps towards the end, J-Tray getting pushed round turn 5 from Creamer, coming round this technical sector of Samson Hill in a McLaren sandwich. What's Creamer going to do? Is he going to attack? Is he going to defend? Time will soon tell what's going to happen to the Aston Martin in this McLaren sandwich. And just shortly behind me, a Phoenix in a Red Bull Haas sandwich. So his last couple of laps, it is getting very, very spicy in the kitchen. Can people handle the heat? Speaking of the heat, we've got back Lightyear to infinity and beyond off track. And that's not what he wanted these last couple of laps. We do have a lot of drivers coming to the start straight. We've got Gulmarv making a great move on Morshlane, Mr. Smooth, to take P3. We will flick back to the start straight. Is J-Tray going to get a move done? Look at Creamer. The speed of Creamer is... No, he didn't quite get the move done, but he stays in that sandwich. The McLarens have some great speed, but Creamer was just absolutely flying down that straight. I'll say 3 laps remaining of this session. Creamer nearly going into the back of J-Tray there. Mr. Smooth, Mr. Morshlane coming up Samson Hill, seeing Gulmarv have a bit of a slip and a slide up the hill. Doesn't quite close the gap as much as he wanted. And so Persegidi has now pulled out a 5-second gap nearly to his teammate. So I'm pretty sure that 3-second penalty to his teammate is going to be null and void if he can keep his car facing the right way towards the end. And so this fight of Creamer and J-Tray, AVT Pasty, another driver to pick up another penalty. And so we know Creamer might win the position after penalties, but he wants to get this move done on the McLaren once again. We're going to see Tezic make a move. We're going to see Creamer make a move. Coming down this start straight, all bit of weave in there from J-Tray to break the toe. Don't think he's going to quite get it done. No, he's not. Once again, Creamer stays in this McLaren sandwich. Ooh, we got Tezic. He's going to go for the inside. He does, but don't quite get the drive out the corner he wanted. So once again, interesting to see from the McLarens. Is there going to be a thing? Or can Tezic? Oh no, if he'd have got the drive out of that, that would have been fantastic. But Creamer gets his car in front of the McLaren. The last couple of laps to try to fight and hunt down Jim Wong. If you can close the gap to there, Creamer can try salvage some points after being disconnected from this race for quite some time. But J-Tray is still all over the back of the gearbox of that Aston Martin. So his teammate Tezic is also only a few tenths behind him as well. Phoenix, Pedro, solid. Oh, as I see that, as I jinxed it, Tezic, I think he might have just got spun round or just lost a bit of traction. Round turn 13, getting spun round, dropping to P12. So J-Tray is now going to try avenge his teammate and say get some points in the top 10 if Tezic can do it. But look at the speed of J-Tray here, round into turn 1. Some great straight line speed from him, getting a move done onto Creamer. But as I say that, Creamer's then just fought back. He says, thank you very much, you've overtaken me on the straight and I'm going to take my position back. Fair play. Now we've got J-Tray going back past Creamer again. It's like a seesaw yo-yo. Now we've got Creamer once again on the inside. Is he going to get a drive down from the helicopter view? No, he's not. J-Tray stays in front. So great display of fair racing from the McLaren and the Aston Martin. So it's probably our closest battle at the moment. So we will keep a little bit of an eye on this at the moment. Morshlane is still just under a second of Gulmarv. If he can close that gap to get in a top 3, that'd be a great result from him. So just round in turn 14 here, coming into turn 15. Is he going to get the exit he wants to take the fight down the start straight of this final lap that's just about to begin? Creamer, even before the DRS, is side by side with him. Get some move done. Is the McLaren going to fight back into turn 1? No, he's not, but he's going to get a great exit into turn 2, turn 3. The camera's not very helping. I can't see what's going on, but he's still just about sticking his nose in front, and all we see Pedro being spun round with Phoenix. I'm not quite sure what happened there. As a Creamer and J-Tray still going at it. Moose Lane just not quite close enough. So we will flick onto our race leader at the moment as he rounds his last couple of corners of this Portuguese Grand Prix. Persegili, flawless result from him. As per usual, the man to beat. Creamer picking up a 3-second penalty towards the end, but there we have it. Persegili a bit of weaving towards the end, nearly taking himself out on the pit wall, taking P1. His teammate secures a P2. Great 1-2 finish from the Mercedes. Gulmov rounds out P3. Great result from him after not a qualifying he would have wanted, and avenged some points for his teammate. Mouchelin, Mr. Smooth, rounds out P4. Max Duca with a P5. Jim Wong with a P6. Creamer with a P7. That's after penalties as well, don't forget. A lot of drivers did pick up a few penalties towards the end. J-Tray with a P8. Great seeing those two fight towards the end. Great to see. Solid Ninja Snake moves to P9. Pedro P10. Phoenix P11, AVT Pasty P12, Backlightyear P13, Tezik P14, Super Jesse to round out the final driver that stayed in till the end, P15. I'm sure we're going to see maybe a few of these incidents in the stewards room, but nonetheless I'm sure we're going to keep you guys involved and up to date. If you aren't already a part of the fantastic Discord, do make sure you do check it out on the channel, and check out our website for the calendar, and you can see the stewards reports between the drivers as well, so you can get the full experience of what happens in POV and from the stream point of view. But there we have it. Persegili on the top in P1, lifting his trophy, doing a Valtteri Bottas. Just hope he doesn't break it like Max does. But there we have it. As I say, Persegili takes P1 with the fastest lap of the session with a 1:17.9. I think I'm probably going to have to give my driver of the day, but I'm not quite sure I'm going to give my driver of the day to. So it's quite hard being a solo commentator. You haven't got really any counter argument, but say it's got to be one of the Mercedes drivers. But then Creamer and J-Tray put an absolute fantastic display on towards the end. I'm not quite sure who I'm going to give it to as it stands, but say there we have the standings. And so we will just go over the incidents just for the stewards, just so if anyone needs any referencing or any points made across, then there we have it. I can quickly just get it in before the end. There we go, before the end. And so there we have it, folks. Portuguese Grand Prix, round 8 in the Apex Online Racing League. I've been Retro Ghost, and unfortunately after a very painful qualifying session and technical difficulties, we are going to round out round 8. Take care and good night.